will experience the full power of the dark side.
Dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Setcast podcast, a Star Wars podcast where we pretty much talk anything and everything Star Wars. I'm one of your hosts, PJ the Paradox Nerd, alongside my co-host, Sean Solo. And we got guests tonight. We got Jeff and a super special guest tonight. We have Amy Allen, aka Aayla Secura. Amy,
Hey.
what a pleasure.
Yes.
Thank you so
my
much.
gosh, we're so excited to have you on the show. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to hop on.
Absolutely. No, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, I met you in Contropolis in New Jersey, and honestly, like I was so nervous to kind of like go get your autograph, and you were so nice, so welcoming.
Thank you.
And I saw like so many people they brought like so many things to have you sign, and I'm very thankful that you're on the show.
Thank you.
Amy, sorry if I'm a little nervous. It's
That's
just
okay.
it's pretty awesome to have you
He
on.
gets that way around women, so it's normal. It's
I
normal.
don't know how to talk. I'm very nervous. But I was gonna say, Amy, I know you've been I know that you worked for ILM for quite a few years before you got into some of the Star Wars movies. But yeah, can you just tell us a little bit more about working in the industry, especially like with ILM, and then how you got into into Star Wars, basically?
Yeah, sure. So working for Industrial Light and Magic was my first job out of college. I went to school in San Francisco, and I wanted to stay in San Francisco, and so I knew obviously that Industrial Light and Magic, ILM, Lucasfilm, was based in Marin County, and my roommate at the time, who I grew up with here in Los Angeles, she had gotten in with the art department at ILM. So she is the one who ultimately passed my resume along, and I went in for my interview, and I was super inexperienced, green, as they say, and I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was hired as a production assistant, and it was the best case scenario. Like I could stay in San Francisco. I always knew that I wanted to work for George Lucas in some capacity, and it happened. So I was a production assistant on Star Wars, and that's when it happened while I was working there. My production manager, Julie, she came to my desk one day, and she put a black and white photocopy of the cover of the comic book with Aayla Secura, and said, you're doing this, kind of jokingly, like, or do you want to do this, but really you're doing this, you should do this.
Yeah.
So and I had previously, which I'd sent you a picture of today, and then actually just posted on my Instagram, actually, that I had done prior to Aayla Secura, was another blue Twi'lek. So
yeah,
I had a few months before that, or I don't remember the timeline. It's funny. I was trying to figure it out today. When I did, that one, in comparison to when we, shot everything for Attack of the Clones, I don't remember the timeline. Anyways, so I was kind of doing things here and there when I was a PA. I was doing camera tests for different shows that were happening, and I was sort of kind of someone that they pulled to do things. So yeah, they took a bunch of Polaroids of me, and we sort of did a mock-up costume, and we sent everything up to the ranch for George to see. And he ultimately said yes, and it all sort of kind of happened from there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, who who knew that being a production assistant could turn into what it turned into? It was just really, really cool.
So, Amy, when you were going into this, were you already a huge Star Wars fan?
I was a Star Wars fan for sure, and I've said this before many times. I probably sound like a broken record, but my dad, grew up here in the San Fernando Valley. My dad was sort of the quintessential San Fernando Valley kid, and loved cars, loved to drag races cars and all that kind of stuff. So I literally grew up watching American Graffiti.
Oh yeah,
and all these. That soundtrack was sort of the soundtrack to my childhood because my dad just loved playing music in addition to that music, that soundtrack. But so that was my first sort of intro into George Lucas and cars and all these things that I really got into. So I kind of just knew that I loved that movie, and then of course Star Wars, but it was huge at the time. I'm a 80s kid, born in the 70s, so. My brother was super into it. And I was a fan, but I didn't, you don't quite understand. I think I didn't really understand the fandom until maybe this happened, and this sort of changed the course of how my life would go.
Right. And your brothers are all jealous too.
I just have one brother, but he's definitely was a, but all the neighborhood kids were. Everybody it was kind of just a part of your childhood.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Amy,
But I was pretty clear about wanting to stay in San Francisco, and there was two people that were in San Francisco. It was, Francis Ford Coppola and George Lucas, and that was our, I just knew that I didn't want to go back to Los Angeles just yet. There was something that I needed to figure out up there, and I did.
Amy, when they said you're going to do this character, did you know right away that you were going to be blue, or did they black and white that out to you?
Well, I knew that it was blue, yes, because even though it was the black and white, the paper that she put on my desk, I'd seen the comic book, so I knew she was going to be a blue Twi'lek. Yeah.
I didn't know if they were like, "Hey, you're going to do this character," but then, oh, sorry, yep, it's going to be blue, right? You're going to be blue.
Yeah, you're going to be taking baths for weeks just to get the blue out.
To get the paint off.
Yeah. I was gonna say, because you played, like, you were part of the, I think the council, right, the Senate or something it was a replacement shot for the DVD for episode 1, and I was senator's aide, kind of in the big, like, floating in this pod thingy in the big arena, or I can't remember what it's called at the moment, where we were. Yeah.
In the floating pod,
like the Senate room.
Yeah. The Senate room.
The big Senate. Yes. Thank you. I'm so used to saying the arena.
Well, it looks like an arena because it's got all
it's big enough.
Yeah, big enough, and you're like, how many senators are in this place? But I was gonna say, did you think when you were playing this part, or or doing the fitting for this costume, where you're like, okay, my next step would be actually becoming a Jedi, like a Jedi master?
No.
Like, how did that happen? Like, was George like, oh my gosh, like, I love this outfit, like, with the Twi'lek, like,
he saw the cover of the comic book, and I think he wanted to add, and I think, think about Return of the Jedi and Femi Taylor, and her sort of presence as the green, Ula, and he just, I think, liked the wanted to add a Twi'lek, and just saw that comic book, and it obviously something, he liked it, and I just was fortunate enough to be in the right place at the right time to be the one to become her,
Right. That's
awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
it's just, it's still every day it still surprises me that I just can't believe there's such a positive, great response to the Aayla Secura character. It's just really cool.
Yeah, and the thing too is that, like, for me, my first exposure to Aayla Secura was obviously in Order 66, and and also, like, in the Attack of the Clones, where you were there in the arena. Well, it's the big huge arena in Genoshan, So when I saw that scene, I was like, oh, it was so heartbreaking, right? When you were like Order 66, and it was probably one of the saddest moments or scenes in all of Star Wars, right? Where you're like, oh my gosh, you
Yeah.
just felt like, you felt what Yoda felt when, like he was holding his heart where Jedis were being executed. And first of
Yeah.
all, they did you wrong. Like they shot you in the back. That is so like the worst.
Yeah, like come
Like
on.
they didn't have the courage to like, hey, Aayla, General Secura, can you turn around? And like they were just scared.
Nah.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah, they were
scared.
threatened by her, so they're like, "Listen, the only way we're gonna kill her, we
Yeah.
gotta sneak up."
Yeah,
behind
it
It
was
her."
like we shoot her now.
It
You were
was
so
pretty
strong.
brutal.
You were so strong. They had to shoot you multiple times, not just once.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
You're so
was.
was-
strong as a Jedi that they had to shoot you multiple times. So.
Oh,
Yeah.
my kids will never let me live that down. That's for sure.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Just the whole thing. Like, look at you and did you just your kids make fun of you. Keep you humble.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah, yeah.
All the time. Like all the time. And it's crazy too. It's like, when growing up, I was like, man, when I have kids, I'm gonna be the coolest dad or coolest parent. And I'm gonna play video games with them and do all. Now I'm like, hey guys, you want to play video games? No, dad. I'm like, okay, why? It's like, because you're my dad. I don't play with my dad video
Oh,
games. Like,
man.
like, okay, all right, bye. Just let me
See,
know
I don't
when-
feel bad because all I have is girls, so I just think it's the boy-girl dynamic because they, they
Right.
drift to their mother because naturally they're closer. But then I'm like, well, I'm just dad. But yeah, now that you're saying that you've got boys and they're doing it, I don't feel so bad.
No, I just think it's just like a parent thing. Like they feel like embarrassed. Like,
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
I have to say, so mine are really embarrassed when we drive to school in the morning. It's a whole thing, and it's funny, and we definitely do things to make it more embarrassing. Whether it's, I just
You don't pull up in blue makeup, do you? Be like, here you go, girls.
No. We just do things to mess with them. My husband pulls some tricks out of his pocket. A couple weeks ago, he put like a huge, big like clown wig. Like as we pulled into the parking lot, it makes them
Nice.
so mad. I mean, they get really
yeah.
mad. But
Oh,
it's
yeah.
funny. But I think doing that is just
You know
part of the fun of embarrassing them. I don't know.
You know what makes it more fun too? Like what makes them more embarrassed is when you start talking like that. They're like, yeah.
When
oh,
you
yeah,
say
you
the
guys-
words that they say.
Yeah, they're like, Dad, don't say that ever again. You're like,
Oh, I could say it right now. I don't want to embarrass myself. But the things that they say. Oh yeah, when their friends are here, I say it, and you can literally see them all freeze and look at each other, and then one of
Is
them's
she
like,
allowed to say
"Mom." Yeah, it's really
you
funny.
know, I didn't know like what cap was, right? Like, they're
Oh
like,
yeah,
I'm like, what does cap mean? Like a cap, like like a baseball cap? No, that means
No.
like you're lying or something, or stop, you're messing around. I don't know what it
It's like
Yes.
hieroglyphics. I don't have a clue.
I know.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's a whole thing.
Yeah, it's a whole thing, but kids.
It is funny that words for like will go strong for like a week with the
Mhm.
kids, and then like you'll use them like the following week, and the kids are like, no, that's
Yes.
not cool
Right.
anymore.
Yeah, it's like you're 2000 late, Dad.
It's
Like,
damn it, I'm trying to catch up.
Totally.
Like, man, that's so
But
Gucci. They're like, you can't say that anymore.
No,
Is that a
it
thing?
becomes
Gucci?
old news very very quickly.
Oh lordy.
So
but
funny.
yeah, I was gonna say too is that like with your character, honestly, it's like you said, it's grown. Like I think your character is so cool, right?
Thank
She's a blue
you.
Twi'lek. She's a Jedi Master. She's part of the Council. The Clone Wars animated show just kind of elevated like the love
100%. Yeah.
for Aayla. And now like I know there's comic books now out there, and now it's just like there's such a huge following to the point where like even though like there was a small screen time, the popularity is there, just like in the same, almost on the same level as Boba Fett. Just because Boba has like a small screen time, but like did you know that there was a fan film made on Aayla Secura?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There's so many things that keep I just in terms of especially like Twi'leks and Twi'leks, the Twi'lek cosplay and the Aayla Secura fan film and a girl that I know actually sent you a picture.
Yeah.
Ray. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Ray Kennex. I thought I sent you one from us at LA. Oh, right there, LA Comic Con.
Yeah.
She does an amazing Aayla Secura and made an Aayla Secura fan film.
Oh wow.
Oh,
She's
is that the one that I watched? I think it's the same
right,
one I
It's
watched.
gotta be. Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah.
She does incredible cosplay. But I think just seeing all of the love for the Twi'leks in general has really grown. And yeah, I just love it. I have fun with it and I love it and they love it and they're just the ones that I have relationships with on Instagram are so cool and just it's just a neat thing.
Is it wild when they come up to you and you're like, I named my child after your character?
Yes.
It's such a cool name too.
Yeah.
That has happened. I mean,
Wow.
I remember it happening when I was in Utah last year. I should have sent you that picture. I met a baby and that was her name. And I held her. I mean, she was with me. I was holding her for at least an hour. She was the cutest baby. And just, yeah, it blows my mind.
It's a cool name though. Like
it is. It's a cool name.
name.
Yeah. It's a cool name. And yes, it's beyond just to hear that and know that somebody's been touched by the character and yeah, it's very cool.
So have you gone as far as like autographing someone's like leg or something and them having their name tattooed on?
Oops.
Oh,
There we go.
You're back.
Are you guys there?
Yeah. You're back. You're
You're back.
Ah.
You're gone.
We can hear you.
Uh-oh.
There you go.
There it is.
Oh, glitch. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
It's all good.
A tattoo? Is that what you were?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. There you have. Oh wow.
Yes. Oh,
That's
yes.
pretty-
Yes, a few times.
Yeah, that's pretty
More
wild.
than a few times. It is.
Yep.
That's so wild.
You're like, my signature is going to be on this person forever.
Yeah, that is
And when
cool.
they come up and show you their, you see all these really great, Ahsoka tattoos and Aayla Secura tattoos and Aura Singh tattoos and just, things, these really cool female characters.
Yeah.
Amy, do you get a lot of fan mail like daily? Like, do you get a lot of things, or you control that where it's not to your house? Like, people send you a lot.
It's interesting. I should actually have you guys. I had an old address where stuff went to, and it still arrives there, and it still makes its way to me. But I've been trying to redirect it to a business address that I have here where I live. I do get things pretty regularly. Oftentimes, just letters and things like that. But then, people do send things to have signed. I need to figure out, I have this new address that I need to get out there so that it lands in the right place because but people too, I think nowadays with social media and Instagram, I try to be pretty present with Instagram and respond. People will say, can I send something to you? Then I can provide them an address and then it's much smoother that way.
Yeah. It can be a full-time job too, social media.
Yeah. And I have to admit, I'm not the best at it. I'm not the best at it. I could be better.
I think we're all learning, Amy.
I think we're all in the same boat, Amy.
We're all on the same.
Yeah, I obviously like I have Instagram, but like it's just such a so much work just to post something because you gotta do the hashtags and you gotta tag someone, and I'm like, why can't I just post it? But no, we totally get it. You're in your like-minded company here, where we're just like, damn it, this is so complicated. Then there's stories, like we're like, what the heck?
Yeah, there's a lot. And there's people that are really, really, really good at it that I'm envious of. Even just some of the teenagers on my street. I'm tempted to say, can you just sit down and help me?
Please help me. Yeah.
I'm just not great at it.
Walk me through it. Yeah.
So
Amy,
one of my sorry, good.
No, I was going to ask Amy too, because it's always curious. I think the fans are always curious. Did you get to pick the lightsaber, or did they just hand you one?
No, I didn't. Back when I worked at ILM, we still had the model shop
Mhm.
and the model shop made my lightsaber.
Oh, nice.
That's where
Oh, nice.
yeah. So they chose the particular one that I
Yeah,
used.
The
Wait,
yeah, it was
question is, did you get to keep one?
I was gonna
wait,
say, get to keep any.
hang on. I think. Okay, I was going to warn you. I thought my dogs were going to bark.
Oh,
I didn't get to keep. I didn't get to keep anything.
Oh,
Yeah,
um,
I know. I know.
at least the health would have been cool, right? Because
Yeah,
that's like was yours.
but I will say over the years I've been gifted pretty incredible, lightsabers and like I mentioned earlier, just the fan art alone and the gifts and the things that I've received are just amazing.
that's kind of why I was asking about the fan. Not necessarily for people to send because you go to cons and that's makes
Yes.
money, but but more along the lines of inspirational things or your character and I mean we can definitely get fan address out like if you send it to PJ, post it up and to write you or to send you
Yeah.
something that they've
Yes.
made or yeah, up to you though. That's like your call. That's your privacy. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I've been getting it sort of all along, and I've received so many. Like I said, my mom, I have this binder of things. I've saved like every drawing.
Mm.
Just I have a lot of really really cool things.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you, Amy. Playing the Jedi, right, in Revenge of the Sith, right, or
Mhm.
in Attack of the Clones. Like, did like George or anyone tell you like the backstory of Aayla Secura? When you got the part, like they were like, "Hey, okay, Amy, this is who Aayla is, and so and so and so and so," or
I mean, I definitely once I sort of found out, this character is this is a comic book character and she has a backstory. I started doing research, my own research, because I
Mhm.
wanted to sort of know. I had to know what I was signing myself up to do. And when
Mhm.
you are sitting, standing on a big giant soundstage with a green screen and George Lucas and John Knoll and these people, you it was a little scary and a little intimidating. So I needed to get myself up to speed a little bit as well. But because I worked there and because I was familiar with everybody, our whole crew, it
Yeah.
was something that I felt, I could ask questions. And the day of, I did the day we were shooting, George, we discussed her character. And he just said he told me, I remember he said it's just going to be there'll be a lot of things that go along with this, action figures and it was like surreal, like what
yeah. You're like,
what is
what?
happening?
Wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
And then I attended my very first Star Wars celebration, and then shortly after the first Hasbro action figure comes out, and
Mhm.
just really surreal, wild things went along with becoming this character.
Yeah. So Amy, how was it the first time you met George Lucas? Was it like surreal? Were you nervous? Was it?
Well, I was around. I mean, he would come because I was on Star Wars. He would come to the ILM, campus, as they
Mhm.
called it, like
Mhm.
like twice a week for dailies, reviews. We had all, at that time we saw a model shop that was building miniature models. They were shooting things once they came back from Sydney and had wrapped, principal photography. We were doing all sorts of, shoots at our sound stages at ILM. So I saw him. He was very present around
Okay, yeah.
ILM. So, and just always very nice to me. It was
That's awesome.
yeah, it was working there was a really, really just really great experience for me, being a young, just out of college graduate and getting that job, and someone taking, the women that hired me taking a chance on me because I didn't have experience. So I
Mhm.
definitely look back on that time. It was a great time, and he was always just really just nice.
Yeah, wow. I mean, working in ILM must have been like a huge dream come true. Not only that, you get to work with George, and then in this picture, you got to, meet Mark Hamill, Peter
I
Mayhew,
did,
and
yeah, many a show with Peter Mayhew and then of course Jeremy.
Jeremy.
Jeremy and his wife were, I think, being around them was always a highlight because I did a lot of conventions with them, and
Hmm.
they, it just, the stories and it was just, it was such a neat moment in my life to experience these conventions with these people, um, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, which was your first celebration, Amy?
So
Oh,
it was Celebration 2002 in Indianapolis.
oh, okay. Oh, they had one in Indianapolis. Oh, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
I wanted to say the very first one was Colorado, and then
Hmm.
the second one was Indianapolis, and that was 2002, and that
Hmm.
was my first one, and it's when I met everybody. The first time I met Daniel Logan,
Hmm.
um, Jeremy, just everybody was there, and it was just kind of like, I can't believe what's happening.
Well, I was gonna say, was there a lot? Because yeah, celebration now is like totally different, right? From when it was when it first started. Because now it's just such a big, huge like spectacle where there's there's like panels, huge panels. There's so many like vendors, actors,
Yeah, it's
actresses.
big. It's big. I did
Yeah.
go to the last one in Anaheim 2022.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and that was great. I had such a good time. And that's the thing, with um with Star Wars and just being involved with it for so many years, I've made a lot of really lasting friendships and relationships.
Hmm.
And that's I and also that goes to that's the same with Industrial Light and Magic. I still have, I mean, we still have a group chat to this day. Like there's a bunch of us, a big group of us that are still really close.
Yeah.
Um, so that's really cool too, because
Oh,
it's been a
that.
long time and we're all still good friends.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So do you like the smaller cons versus the bigger cons, or do you feel like they're just
Um,
kind of
yeah,
all the
I like
same?
the smaller ones are nice. I think they're both fun to do.
Hmm.
The smaller ones are fun. Oh, that's my new little pit droid.
Oh,
That's
that is
cool.
so
That's
cool.
good.
Yeah,
This.
I just got him a couple weeks ago. This a guy who builds them, his name is Mark Kessler, built him for
Mhm.
me. So I just picked him up. He can stand, but I'm leaving him for now, just sitting because
Mhm.
just to keep him safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like if kids come in and check him out, I just like don't really want him being
Mhm.
touched because
Yeah.
he's delicate,
You got
fragile.
to keep the
Um,
dogs away.
Yeah, the dogs don't really
Oh
go
yeah.
near him, but I just for now I'm going to keep him sitting just to be safe. And
Yeah.
that he's holding the license plate he's holding is a nod to American Graffiti.
Oh,
Um,
Yeah.
wow.
DHX
so
13.
yeah,
THX.
so
Yeah, THX, yes.
so that's he's pretty cool, nice and little
Yeah.
addition.
That's awesome.
That's
Um,
awesome. Like, wow. Whoever made it, like, yeah, they did such a great job on that.
yes.
Amy,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, sorry. Do you have other collectibles? Like, do you have statues? Like, do you keep the statues of yourself, or do
Yeah,
you?
I have. I have. Like I've kept a few, well, more than a few, like some Gentle Giant um, figures, and then of course I have my, my Hasbro action figures. I have a lot of stuff. I'm saying, I'm sort of. I wish I had a dedicated Star Wars room, but I don't
Mhm.
have that. I don't because we have, I don't have enough room in my house. So at some point, yeah, a lot of it's I'm thankfully my mom is close by, so I have a lot of stuff there too. Um, because I want to obviously keep stuff, and keep it protected and keep it in good condition. And
Yeah.
Yeah. The
so
kids
Yeah.
will move out one day and then you'll be good to go.
Yeah, you take
yeah,
over. Yeah.
yeah, yes, yes.
Well, I
So
was gonna say, and I mentioned this to you at the convention, Amy. Like, one of like this I guess this big huge like Aayla Secura statue is worth like a lot of money. It's actually worth about like over $2,000. And such a rare piece because it's such a, obviously like I said before, your character's so beloved.
That's the sideshow one, right?
Yeah. It's so hard to get. No one wants to sell it. They don't want to sell it. Once they got it, but it just goes to show you like how much your character is beloved and how much you did such a great job with that character. And I know there's someone in the chat that was asking like about like that scene, the Order 66 scene. If did you have like free reigns to like here he goes. Quinlan Voss, how dare you? No. Did George Lucas give you any cliff notes on how he wanted you to act in Order 66 scenes, or did you have free range to do whatever?
No, definitely was given the backstory of everything that was, I maybe it was a small backstory. I don't think I knew. Yeah, it honestly was 20 years ago. So I don't remember, the exact conversation we had other than, sort of getting the lay of the land as to what was going to happen to me. But, and how it was to happen. But I didn't know too much, because at that point everything was still so, kept under the radar.
Yeah.
So I just had to kind of go in and find out what it was going to happen to me. And then, you wouldn't find out till a little while later.
Yeah, I was just like, I was just like rewatching that scene again. And it obviously I'm just like, well, first of all, the planet Felucia was beautiful.
Yeah, it was really pretty.
And it was like, it just
colorful
went well,
and
colorful. And it just went well with like, your skin tones because you're blue.
Sure.
And like I'm just gonna just fast forward a little bit because I don't want to get dinged by the mouse. But like, yeah, so here it is, like, and like I said, you did such a great job. Obviously, those guys are freaking jerks. How dare they? And there's Commander Bly too. Commander Bly, it was your I guess your right hand clone person. So yeah, it just it was like I said, such a great job. And you did such your character has become so popular after that movie. Do you think you would, like, if offered, would you ever reprise your role as Aayla Secura?
Of course, of course.
Because no one really dies in Star Wars, right? We've seen that so multiple times. But they could also explore and hoping Dave Filoni, or Jon Favreau, hey, maybe like a like a flashback scene so we get more of her. Something. Because we want more of Aayla Secura. Like, honestly. You could see it, all the fandom, like people that you talk to. Like,
that's so nice.
There's so nice. Fan films being made of you.
Thank you. It's nice.
So we've got a question from the chat. It says, how many times did you fall down for Order 66 scene?
That I don't know that I can answer.
Was it a lot?
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. That's a good question though. Yeah. There was multiple falls into a big giant stunt pad.
You're like, get up, do it again. You're like, come on, man.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah.
To answer your question, I'm just really so grateful for the fact that I even got to be involved at all on the level that I was, and the fact that 22 years later, I still get to do things like this, fun conversations, podcasts, talking to people, talking about the experience. So I'm, whatever, life, obviously brings my way, I'm grateful for, but I'm just grateful for the experience that I had and the friendships that I've made along the way, the friendships that I, have, had with all my old coworkers that continues on to this day. I mean, those are just all, the benefits of working there.
Yeah. If you have another question, Matt says, Amy would you like a lightsaber we spoke on IG about a month ago after I made one, and I would be honored to make you one. So
Oh, that would be amazing. I wonder if it's the same guy that built the one, like the actual, he built an Aayla Secura,
Mhm.
um, I think like post or like a bat. I have it somewhere. I think I saved a
Yeah.
picture of it. But yes, I would love that.
Yeah. And aren't you like I was gonna say too, like, like with the green screen, like, how
Mhm.
was that? Like, because I saw some like behind the scene footage of you, like with the green screen, like did they give you like a scenario like, hey Amy, there's gonna be a lot of like colorful trees and you gotta like
Sure, for both. Yeah, for both. I mean, I didn't, for Attack of the Clones, the big arena battle, I, went in there also by myself. Um,
Mhm.
you're just given direction and then they place you where they want you. And yeah, I mean, it was a little, I should have sent you more pictures. I mean, I have so many.
Yeah, it's okay.
But the green screen was new for, obviously I was working as a PA. I was working on the stage
Mhm.
every day looking at a green screen, but to actually be the person in front of it was obviously, whoa.
Heck
Yeah.
This is wild.
Amy,
It's all
how
yeah.
long did it take you each day, like to go into
Makeup
paint? And,
wise,
yeah.
it's like a 4 hour process,
Mm,
maybe 4 plus. It was
wow.
Give you
super fun. And Danny, who you can see in the picture,
mhm,
and then there was another woman, Lauren, Danny and
mhm.
Lauren, and then my costumer Jillian, who's a really dear friend to this day. We just had it was fun. We had a good time.
Yeah, we had another question in the chat. They were asking like, who was one of your favorite actors to work with on set?
So I worked completely by myself.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
the green screen was because for Attack of the Clones I was sort of a last minute addition.
Mhm.
So when they decided to add me, into the arena battle and sort of pepper me into different, scenes in Attack of the Clones, I just did everything just by myself with the green screen.
Yeah, I was gonna say too. You were in like some other scenes as well in the
I
background.
was,
Where
yes.
you're like, I think it was like when
In the
Kenobi was,
Yeah, there
yeah,
was a
and
bar scene.
yeah.
Yeah, we actually pulled a few different people that worked there for some of those different scenes where we needed more people.
Yeah. Is there any scenes that were cut from the movie where you're like, oh, come on, George, really? No, I was kidding.
No, I mean,
Uh,
for me, for Revenge of the Sith, I had a speaking part and that didn't make it. So that was a bummer because that would have been cool. But
what?
yeah,
Oh man.
yeah,
Oh,
that
come
would have
on,
been super cool.
George.
But no, it's okay. No, I'm grateful for it all. Doesn't
Okay, I know, but I'm messing around with you, George. I'm sorry. Just kidding. Um, do you remember this? Can you give us some context of that scene or not really?
I don't remember the line, and I wish back in the day we had phones and we had our notes and we could put that
Mhm.
all in there. But I don't remember.
Okay. Did you had to take any choreography lessons or anything like in
I had
terms of like?
no professional to use the lightsaber. You mean?
Yeah.
I sort of went in, you know. So my roommate at the time, or my friend at the time, who became my roommate, Steve, was recruited back from Sydney. So
Mhm.
he worked on Star Wars in Sydney. He actually was pretty like knowledgeable with the lightsaber after being on set for several months in Sydney. So he was the one that actually gave me um, a few pointers.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
because
Nice.
it all kind of happened really quickly too.
Mhm.
So I just went in there and did the best that I could.
You did a great job because we're like, oh, okay, like you're doing like a really awesome job with like in the Genoshan scene, right? And like I said, like I wish we got more of you, especially like some of like scenes that were cut out, because when the Clone Wars episodes came out, I was like, oh, see, this is what I
Yeah,
wish I got to see, like
yeah.
I'm hoping like they do some like I don't know flashback or something in like in movies or something.
The
Uh,
Clone Wars cartoon series, I think, really helped, kind of elevate her character, and really keep her, like popular. Like they really,
Right.
it was so cool that she was featured the way she was.
Yeah.
You're able to get a little more lore, get a little deeper into the character.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
And then all these little kids are finding out about it too. Like my kids watched Clone Wars, and it's just, it's super cool.
So do your kids think it's cool that you were in Star Wars?
They do.
Yeah.
But you know,
you ever catch them bragging to their friends about it?
you know, no, it's funny. Like, not really. I think my daughter's kind of funny because she's like, well, Mom, you know, you were in it, but you know, like not that much.
Oh, yeah. That
Oh,
sounds like
come
yeah.
I'm like, wow.
You're like, yeah, but I was in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. They know
Mhm.
they're, you know, of course they are genuinely like they think it's
Mm-hmm.
cool, and they meet, you know, they've been to conventions with me.
Oh, they
and
have? Okay,
yeah,
that's
and I
fun.
took them to Celebration with me.
Mhm.
They came for a couple days. My niece came, my nephew. I had my parents there.
Mhm.
That's cool.
They like it. They do, and they just, you know, kids. They just like to keep you humble.
Oh yeah.
Not that I'm
Yep.
not humble, because I just they like
No,
to.
you are. Yeah.
They like to just kind of, you know, haha, make fun of Mom type of thing.
I think
Yeah, no.
if I was a kid and like I had new friends come over, I'd be like, watch Star Wars. Let's watch Star Wars. And be like, hey, what do you think of this Jedi? Like, it's actually my mom. Like,
Yeah, right.
cool.
They're like, no, she's not.
No, she can't be. That's not right. Yeah.
I think when they see, like, you know, my new little pit droid friend, and you know, my like the action figures, and that's really like super cool for them too.
Yeah, I was gonna say too, like, you know, I mean, do they watch all the movies, or have
Oh
they
yeah,
watched?
they've seen everything. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's good too, because you know, like for me, like my middle one name is Luke, not because you know I'm a Star Wars fan. I always tell
You were
everyone
a
that, like,
Dukes
oh,
of Hazzard fan.
yeah, no, because you know, like, you know, it comes from the Bible, so obviously
It's a
I
great
named
name.
it.
Luke is a
Yeah,
great name.
Luke is a great name, but like, you know, I try to get my kids to watch Star Wars. Like, out of the three boys that, like, you know, I have, only one of them, the baby of the family, the baby
Is the one that
loves.
likes it.
Yeah, I'm like, what? You know, they're like, because you know, I show them the movies. They're like, Dad, this is so old. You know, because they're so used to like
Yeah.
Marvel.
Wait,
you
someone
know?
just wrote, sounds like your kids are Trekkies.
Yeah, Benjamin.
No.
Yeah,
No.
no, my kids are, yeah. Well, they should. Oh, if there were Trekkies, oh, I'm disowning them. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding, guys. I'm not disowning my kids. I love them.
Yeah,
every
my
day.
son's pretty knowledgeable. He's pretty knowledgeable, because you know, when he was little, he did a deep dive, and you know, and then he was, you know, very, very much into his Legos and his clones, and he would do the massive build out with the you know, the plates with the he made the clone army, and he's pretty knowledgeable of it. She is too. They definitely appreciate it for sure.
Yeah.
And they've, you know, gotten to meet a lot of really cool people, and that's been, you know, fun for them. And they like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, that's good. That's awesome, because like I said, like my kids are like, they're into like other things. So I'm like, at least I have one out of the three that
Sure.
loves.
Sure.
I'll take that.
Yeah. And they kind of go on, you know, when they're in like in these years, like they you know, they start to develop different interests. You know, she's like, they watch different things, and they have different interests, but I like it because Star Wars is a kind of constant and a present in my life. So you know, it will be in theirs.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, did any of the kids have any interest in being in the movies at all since you were in them?
In general, you mean like working,
Yeah,
like in
just-
film?
Yeah, and like, yeah,
just any aspect.
You know, it's funny. I you know, after I, you know, quit or left working for Industrial Light and Magic, and I moved back home, I spent, you know, years working in production.
okay.
So that's what I did. You know, that was my day job. So most of my, a lot of my friends, a lot of the people that my kids know are people that I worked in the film business with. So yeah, they one of them works in casting, and my kids recently just got their work permits, just in case something comes up here and there, and it works out with school. They're interested, but it's nothing that we are actively, pursuing.
Right.
But yeah, I think, if they develop an interest in working in film later on, I think it'd be great. I mean, that's what I did. I went to school and got my film degree, and then I, worked. Yeah, I had a lot of really, I had great jobs when I moved back to LA, and that's what I did up until I had my kids.
So, yeah, I mean, I see, the thing too is like, I wish I love film, and I wish I kind of like pursued it a little bit, just because I never knew I loved film until I took a film class in high school. And when I took that film class, it was crazy because I only took it so I could like sleep in class. I was a senior. I was gonna I'm gonna watch the movies. Oh, time to close my eyes during those movies. But the one thing that got me was, the first movie, I think my teacher knew what she was doing. Shout out to Miss Highland, I think she knew what she was doing. I think she was like, okay, a lot of kids are probably gonna take this class just to take a nap, but I'm gonna try and hook them in with Star Wars. So I've watched Star Wars multiple times, but the way she explained it, and how she taught that class, and like how, obviously the behind the scenes and how it was made and how it was ahead of its time, how it accelerated like the technology in movie making.
Is that what really piqued your interest? Is when you saw it
in a different light? Because I saw Star Wars like, oh, cool, lightsabers, fighting, awesome, force powers, cool.
Right.
But then when
you get into the technical side of it, or how it was done,
I was like, cool. And then obviously, she showed more movies like 12 Angry Men, Citizen Kane, and I just like got drawn in. She took us to a film museum in Brooklyn.
Ooh.
I wonder if it's still there, but I was like, man, but like, I was like inspired to do other things, but it didn't work out. But I kind of wish I went the film route. It's cool that your kids are showing some sort of interest, right?
PJ's always wanted to be a Twilight.
I always wanted to. Listen, can I tell you? I don't know what they do to the Twilight men, but like like some of them have fangs. Did you see that one with in the Mandalorian? The guy.
Oh yeah.
I was like,
yes.
They just don't look as. I'm like, okay.
PJ's like, never mind. I don't want to.
Never mind. I don't want to be a Twilight male.
You don't have to lie, PJ.
I've always wanted to be no. If I was gonna pick a species, I don't know what I would pick.
Oh yeah, that's a tough one.
Right?
That's like when you get asked who's your favorite character in Star Wars. I don't want to answer that today.
It's a tough one, right?
That's a tough one. Like I don't know what
hard.
I would pick. I would not pick like the Hutts. I wouldn't want to be that species. I don't know what I would pick as a I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard. It's a hard
hard
question to answer.
Well, the Wookiee's going to be a Jedi soon, so right?
Yeah,
acolyte. So
I don't know. Oh, that's good. Now, like now you see like some of the new stuff that's happening in like with with Star Wars, especially now with the volume, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that would have made it a lot easier, when acting back then?
I mean, I
with the green screen.
It's so advanced now, and I mean, I've only heard. I've never, seen the volume worked in the volume. I've just only heard how incredible it is. I'm sure it would be amazing. But at the time when I was there, they were, sort of. It was a different time because it was kind of the old school and the new school, because the model shop was still there, but things were just changing, and it was oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank on our video, because they didn't shoot it they stopped shooting it on film.
They went digital, right?
and so it just was this whole sort of transition of like old school to new school that I was there for, and it was just an interesting time because there was a lot of the old school guys, like the model shop guys and the ones that had been there for the original movies, and then sort of early 2000s transforming to this new way of filming.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. George like wanted to accelerate the technology, and that's what especially some of the scenes in the prequels, right? You're like blown away. You're like, wow, this is like next level, and and I give a lot of credit with the green screen because it's so hard. Like, yeah, it's easier now, but I can't imagine back then you had to like use your imagination, use like, okay, what's being told of you, like, okay, this a lot of flowers, a lot of like colorful flowers, and it's like you're trying to imagine that by just looking at the green screen. But that must be hard in itself,
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just it's come so far now, and I mean, I haven't been on a set in a long time to see how far it's come. It's only what I see, when I'm seeing things, whether it's someone showing me that's working on something, or I'm seeing it online, or it's just so advanced now that yeah, I don't know, it would be really like interesting to see what it would be like now versus
Just call up John
then.
and see what he's doing. See if he can come hang out.
Can we just like call John and Dave? Can you just bring Aayla back? I mean, honestly,
You don't even have to call her Aayla. Just put me in the movie.
Yeah, no, but even just like we need more of her. And like honestly, I wish
That's
it's just like
I'm
there's
glad
so,
people really like the character. I think that's so great.
Yeah, but there's so much lore that was. I mean, even okay, we'll settle for at least like 2 or more scenes. Like we want more, obviously, but just kind of like just get more of backstory of her. Because she's such a very mysterious character. Even though we kind of read a little bit about her in like,
in the comic books for sure.
Yeah. I supposedly she has some sort of like love interest with Kit Fisto. I don't know if you know that.
Yes, I do know that.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, that would have been cool to kind of like see or explore. Obviously, because Jedis are not allowed to love, so that would have been like so cool to know.
I used to actually do back in the day. Zach Jensen, who was Kit Fisto, we used to do conventions together, and so that was always like a thing, like
yeah,
the two of them, and he and I would, it was just funny, the sort of would-be romance of the two.
I know that would kind of cool because it's like it's like forbidden love, and like like Aayla, like okay, all right, Kit, all right, so, like I like you, but and then Kit Fisto supposedly prevented Aayla from drowning by like doing like a mouth to mouth. It's like, really?
That's in the comic book.
Yeah, the comic book. You're like, are you sure they were used like or you just wanted to really kiss her because you really liked her?
Hey PJ, I put a couple of pictures in the chat. It's
okay.
I'm curious if Amy's seen this statue. It's the NYC, the one that lights up.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I think I know what you're gonna. Let's see.
Yeah, Anthony just sent them to me. Yeah.
Okay, let me just let me pull it up real quick. Here you go. Yeah, you seen this one, Amy?
Yes, I actually have. So I have one.
Oh, you have one?
Yes, I do.
Oh my gosh,
that's cool.
That is so cool.
And I took. Sorry, I just disappeared. I'm looking at it. Yes, I do have one.
See, Michael will be glad to hear that. It's the guy that owns the company.
Yeah, Michael. Them. Yeah,
so you know.
Yeah, I met him. Where did I meet him? Maybe at Colorado Comic Con. But yeah, I have one, and it was up for a really long time, where the droid is on the mantle. But then I moved her into my guest room. So it's a little more. It's kind of out of the way.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Because I have to be careful with that stuff because the lightsaber, is fragile, and I don't have a house that's, just adults.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
no,
I feel like I could have all that stuff out. But, I
You
feel
have to
like
child-proof everything.
I feel like even though they're bigger, they kind of look at stuff and
Mm.
it breaks. Just
Yeah.
that's just what happened.
They look at it, it breaks.
Yeah,
Kids.
they just,
Yeah.
and even though they're bigger, but stuff still happens. So I try to protect that kind of stuff, which is why
Yeah.
I don't have the droid standing up yet.
Yeah.
Amy,
I was
did
gonna
you?
s- Yeah.
Sorry,
Sorry.
you're on. I know we're talking Star Wars, but I actually was reading some about some of the other films and stuff you did. Also, like,
Did you read? If you read it on IMDb, it's not all accurate.
but like I
and
read
it's-
some of the other stuff, like Gangs of New York. Like that was like.
Well, Gangs of New York, I worked on when I was working at Industrial Light and Magic.
Got it.
So that was before Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
can't.
just like that movie. That movie was. Phenomenal.
Yes, I did too.
It was like
and that
2002, right?
Yeah, it was right around the
Yeah.
same time.
Yeah.
And that was a really cool experience because I was able to go to the ranch with my visual effects supervisor and visual effects producer
Mm-hmm.
at the time and watch a version of it with Martin Scorsese and George Lucas.
Oh
Wow.
my gosh.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Two of the legends too, right?
No, it was one of the most surreal moments
Wow.
ever because I was a production assistant on Gangs of New York. So they took me along, that day, and I had a good working relationship with the visual effects supervisor that on Gangs of New York. His name was Michael Owens, and also our producer. And we just, the three of us were together a lot, and so yeah, they took me along, and it was it was pretty wild.
Oh,
I mean, it's
man.
bloody, but there's great visual in that movie, right? The visuals and the way that they did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still have here. It's put away, but I still have a little skull miniature from the model shop
Yeah.
for one
Oh,
of the
that's not-
scenes. Yeah,
Wow.
it's really cool.
I was gonna say you also worked in artificial intelligence, right? AI.
Not really.
Oh, okay.
When I first started working at Industrial Light and Magic, I was called what they term or I was a floater PA, they called it. So I was basically
okay.
new and sort of floating. ILM has multiple shows at one time.
Oh,
so
gotcha,
they're
gotcha.
working on one group's working on Pearl Harbor, one group's working on AI, artificial intelligence, one group's working on this movie. So I just happened to be on AI for a particular amount of time. I did get a credit, but once I left ILM, I worked for a producer for many years, and then I worked for Michael Bay, the director.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
So
Nice.
I worked up until I was really starting to really focus on having my kids. I stopped kind of right before I got pregnant, but I worked with my old boss. His name is Barry Waldman, and we worked a lot with Tony Scott, and then I went on to work for Michael Bay.
Yeah, I mean,
So I had a
wow.
whole sort of separate career, working in production.
Right.
I mean, you got to work with some of the greatest, Michael Bay, Martin Scorsese. I loved all his films.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't technically work with Martin Scorsese.
I mean,
I worked on his movies,
which is
yeah.
like still,
But it was
that's
a
still-
neat experience. It was a neat experience.
great experience, but yeah, no, that's cool. And we have another question in the chat. It says, did you shoot your blue screen scenes in the old 3210 studio or on Kenner Boulevard?
On Kerner.
Kerner. Sorry.
Yeah, yes, we shot at ILM on Kerner.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
And I was gonna say too, because you do a lot of convention, and you get to visit a lot of like cities, right?
I do.
I wish I would. I know you came to New Jersey. Hopefully, you come to New Jersey again, so we could. I could show you some of the good, piece of places around here. And I know you got to like do the tour in the little yacht.
I actually couldn't make that.
You didn't make that?
No,
Oh, okay.
when they went the day before.
Yeah.
The whole gang. No, I got in that. When did I get in? I think I got in late that night. I couldn't make it work. I forget
Oh,
why,
okay.
but I know I couldn't do that, which was a
Oh,
bummer.
okay. Yeah.
Next time.
Next time, well, hopefully it comes to New Jersey. But out of all the cities that you visit, which was one of your favorites, like to visit all the time?
It's
Oh,
being recorded, Amy.
yeah,
I know.
that's
Don't worry. You'll have to answer it if you're like, oh boy.
No, I don't.
Not
I
one
can't.
of your favorites. All of
Just
them are your
blink
favorites.
twice.
Just
I really do enjoy the convention aspect of
Mhm.
the Star Wars world. It is really fun. I've been fortunate enough to travel to some really fun places.
Mhm.
Obviously I hold Japan is one of my
Ah.
absolute favorites. I've been there a few times now, and I love Japan. It's just a fantastic culture, and the Star Wars fans over there are incredible. But in terms of like picking a favorite place, I just enjoy I'm starting to enjoy the travel. For a while, I think when my kids were little, I was kind of like nervous and didn't really want to go far, and just sort of kind of dipped out a little bit, and then I really jumped back in maybe like 2021 and started to really enjoy the travel and visiting all the different places and just in meeting all the people. It's just a lot of fun.
There's a cool little con. It's on this East Coast, and nobody ever comes up here for Star Wars other than Billy D.
What is it?
It's Manchester. It's Granite Con.
Oh, when is it?
It's in a couple months, Hobbs. No, but nobody ever comes here for Star Wars. We get the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They were in Derry, right? So they were formed in Derry, New Hampshire. So,
I mean, I'll come.
All right, I'll hit the guy up and be like, hey, you gotta go get Amy to come to Manchester.
Yeah, I can bring along some Star Wars friends too.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah.
Happy to help.
Growing the community.
Yeah, sure.
Star Wars is asking, you come into you're talk about Japan. Are you going to a celebration next year?
I don't know. I would love to. I always, of course, love going to Celebration. And I love, like I said, going to Japan. The two together would be amazing. I have done a Celebration in Japan before.
There has been one. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we did. It was. Oh, maybe it was. I have to look.
Yeah. But I was gonna say that's like next year, and I'm debating on going because I could actually make a vacation out of it.
Yes.
Do kill two birds with one stone, go to a celebration, and like visit Japan at the same time. Like, how long do you think is a good like stay there? Like, is it like a week? Should I do a week or?
Oh gosh, I mean, it depends. I feel like places like that when the travel's so big, 2 weeks is almost. 10 days, or you want to just kind of really maximize your time when you take those big trips. I'm trying to think of which. There was a big huge event in Japan. There was a ton of us there. Yeah, it was a celebration. It must have been like 2009, 2010. I can't. Maybe you guys can.
Yeah.
Lewis said it was 2008.
2008. Okay.
Oh, 2008.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Thanks, Lewis.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but yeah. I think you're going to Rebel ScumCon, right? In Dallas.
Yes, that's in Dallas at June. Like June 27, 28, 29. I think right around then.
Yeah. I have this running joke about Hello Kitty. I don't collect, guys. For goodness sake, I collect stuff.
TJ. Are you going? There's Hello Kitty.
No, they think for some reason they think I collect Hello Kitty. I don't, guys.
That's okay.
I told you, not speaking from experience. I always say that. But no. But like, I would love to go visit Japan because I love the culture, especially now. Like they got that show. What's that called? Shogun. That's
that looks good.
Oh my! That's an old show, right? That's from this. Yeah. So. Now I've been watching the Shogun. It's on FX. It's like it was based off of the old TV show back in the day.
Yeah.
Samurai Warriors. Yeah, it looks really good. It looks really good.
Yeah, so I've been watching that, so I'm like, oh, I should really go visit Japan. You know, I've always wanted to, and you know, my wife is on board, so I'm like, ugh. So kill two
Start
It's a-
birds with
saving.
one stone.
It's a cool
Hopefully,
place.
Amy, hopefully you're there. So we could
That would be amazing.
come.
Hey, we
come
hope
see.
you're at MegaCon in Orlando next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to do MegaCon. I know it just happened. Didn't it just
Yeah, it just happened.
just
Like
happened?
a month ago.
A month
I
ago?
was there. Yeah.
Was it
Yeah.
awesome?
Yeah, it was my first one, and it was huge. Like there's so
Oh.
many people.
I
And
know.
then today, like I had VIP tickets last year, and then today I got the email so you could pre-purchase VIP tickets starting today.
Uh-huh.
So I've already bought my ticket for next year. So that's
Oh,
why I'm like,
nice.
I'm hoping you go, and then we get
Oh,
to meet in
thanks.
person.
Oh, that would be great.
September in
Yeah.
New Hampshire is beautiful.
What's there in New Hampshire, Jeff?
Nature, right? Lots of
Oh,
nature.
yeah, I've never
Nature.
been to New Hampshire.
I have
Like
no
that.
affiliation with this con whatsoever, other than
He
I
just
like
want.
to go
He
to.
just wants you to.
Yeah, I just want them to get some Star Wars guests to come. So
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say too. It's like, all right. So the conventions that are booked for this year, you definitely going to Rebel Scum, right? That's in Dallas. That's gonna be in, I think in June.
June.
right?
Yes, it's in June, the end of
June.
June. It's like 27, 20, like right around June, the end of June.
Yeah. So I'm like really debating on going because it's in Dallas, correct? And
Yes.
I've always wanted to go to Dallas, and there's like a horde of like Star Wars,
Yeah.
people going, and you're
How-
going, which is more
Yeah,
important.
how many people do we have on our show that's on that list? A lot.
Oh, look
I
at that. Oh, I
know.
was going to say that there.
Rory was
Mark-
on the show.
I see the end. There was a picture of Mark Dodson.
Yeah, I
Oh,
know. That was
yeah.
that was very sad.
I just saw him not that long ago. We actually did a panel together.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Such a nice guy. That was really sad.
Yeah, it's very sad and big loss, and for all of us.
Oh, I think I saw him when we were in New Jersey. He was there with us. That's when we did a panel. It was in New Jersey.
Yeah, I think he was in the same. Was he in the same aisle?
Yes,
Or was it?
he was across from me this time. But yeah, we all did a panel together.
Yeah. So, yeah. So I was gonna say, with besides Dallas, is there any other conventions? Because obviously everyone wants to come, meet and see you. Is there any other conventions that's in?
Things are slowly trickling in. I have one. I'm doing the ICCC in Nashville.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Oh.
which I'm really excited about.
That's a
You know
good
what?
con.
Yes, in
Sean?
October.
Yeah.
Jeff?
We'll see.
No, there's no.
It's not-
I'm actually.
I've
Let's
been there
do
the
it.
last 2 years. So
I know,
it's a very
Sean.
good con.
Yeah, I'm excited. I just actually had a little exchange today with Mike, and I'm super
Yeah,
excited
yeah.
to go.
Michael Hawes, yeah.
Yeah. So, but other than that, I'm sort of kind of back and forth. I think I'm going to the UK in May, like for May 4.
Mhm.
Oh, you are. Oh, okay.
Yes, but I there's just a few things that are still sort of floating out in the galaxy that haven't yet come to,
Mhm.
still just going back and forth. So I'm hoping to get out there a lot more though, because I feel like the year's still kind of new, and I'm just now
Yeah.
Yeah.
lining things up more and more.
Yeah. I mean, usually con season doesn't really start probably like until like a little bit later, like, once spring hits, and the weather gets better, everyone's like, okay, now I can do this. And plus, the holidays, and the new year and stuff. So people are just getting,
Yeah,
back
it slows
from
down
that.
for a bit, then it's got to ramp up again.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Jake is asking
so-
to be at San Diego Comic-Con.
That
you-
I don't know. So back in the day, I used to do it quite a bit.
Mhm.
And then last year I was gonna go with a couple of Star Wars people, but it was timed around our family vacation that we do with my brother. I just couldn't make it work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's so big now.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
It was different, in the early days when I was doing it. It was always obviously a very big event, but I don't know, to answer your question. I don't know. That's more of a TBD, maybe closer to.
Right.
Yeah. Benjamin says that if it works out, we will see you in May the 4th in the UK, right?
Oh,
So,
fantastic. Yes. I think I'm flying. Is it Manchester?
yeah.
I'm not. I think it's Manchester area ish.
Yeah.
But yes,
Yeah.
that's the plan.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to ask you, Amy, like, before, we wrap things up, I just have to ask, how heavy is that Lecu?
Yeah.
I've always I've always
Leku.
watched you,
Ooh.
and like now Rosario is playing Ahsoka, and I always look at it, I'm like, I feel like my neck like hurting because I'm like, it must be. Is it heavy?
Pulling back.
It's just like just sort of kind of dense piece on the top of your head, but you're gonna put whatever on your head when you're getting when you're gonna
being
hold a lightsaber and be in Star Wars. Yeah.
Yes,
You
I
just
will
gotta
play
put it on your head and like it.
Listen,
no
if
complaints from me.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was gonna say if Dave Filoni or George, John Favreau, call me right now to say, hey, PJ, please be an extra as a Twi'lek.
We need you to be Yaddle.
Yaddle. Oh my god.
With fangs.
Yeah. Oh, right. Am I going crazy? Didn't that guy have fangs?
I don't know. I gotta go back and look.
I know.
Yeah, I could have sworn he had fangs, and I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't know Twi'leks had fangs. I must be. Yeah,
I know. I don't want to look because I feel like last time I tried that, I disappeared.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not because I'm on my iPhone, so I don't want to.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no. Again, Amy, seriously, we appreciate you, hopping on our show. It was definitely a lot of fun.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Like we're not just saying that. Like you did such a great job with Aayla Secura. We love that character, and I'm sure you see it when you go to these conventions and how many people flock to your booth.
That's really nice. Thank you.
Like with the amount of things that they come to have you sign or even take pictures with. I met you in person, and honestly, guys, I'm not even saying it just because she's on our show, but she is the nicest and kindest person I've ever met. I even shared a picture of her on Instagram and even said that to her. So definitely please.
I really appreciate that. Thank you. That's so nice. Thank you.
Yeah, no, mean it from the bottom of my heart. And for everyone, please follow her on Instagram. It's the official Amy Allen, Aayla Secura Instagram. We could drop the let me see if I could grab that link right now. The official
all lowercase
Aayla Secura. Yeah, here I'll put it on the chat. Please give her a follow, and so you can be updated with all her appearances that she's gonna have throughout the year in the conventions. Please. If she comes around your town, just definitely try to, make the drive and, definitely, get a chance to meet her. So
that's so nice. Thank you, PJ. That's really sweet. Thanks, you guys. I was going to say that one of the cool things I've noticed like the last couple years of conventions is this whole sort of new generation of kids that are the prequel kids.
Oh yeah.
That watched it when they were younger and now they're 20 early 20s. I watched it when I was so little with my dad and early mid 20s, whatever, 30 to 30, and that's been really cool because it's to have a younger audience and younger adults come up to me and say that I watched this movie with my family, with my parents, and I always loved this character, and then I watched your character in the Clone Wars, and I did that's been one of the highlights for me the last couple of years is sort of whole
that's awesome.
Younger group of kids.
Right.
I call them when I meet them the prequel babies.
That's
exactly
funny. One of the prequel babies just put it in the chat. Gonna try and make it to ICC this year.
Oh, really?
We always joke around because he always says, "With my young eyes, I was reading it." It's like, okay.
Yeah, because he's like one of the younger ones in the community.
I need my glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely, guys, we definitely, and Sean's been there a couple times. He's always raved about that
It's
convention.
fantastic. It's so laid back.
Yeah,
It's a pretty big
super
con,
excited.
but it's chill. It's so chill. I love it.
And plus, it's Nashville too. Nashville is becoming such
better.
great. I don't really drink that much, but I heard the whiskey is really good over there. The Nashville, Tennessee chicken, I definitely have to try.
I think
the
Nashville in
hot.
general has a really exciting, just nightlife and the music scene.
The
and all that.
music, yeah.
Which it'll be fun. I'm excited.
As long as we're in bed by 9, we're good.
I know. And that's crazy that you said about
what? I'm not going,
joking.
Sean. That's it.
I'm just joking. I'll be your chaperone.
Yeah. And that's crazy too, like with the prequels, like, you say that, like, it's crazy because I grew up with the prequels, and seeing it on the big screen because, for me, that was my first exposure to Star Wars in like the big screen. Because prior to that, obviously, it was like the original trilogy, which I was not even around. I was not even, like I didn't get a chance to see that in the big screen. But
yeah, I'm older than you.
No way, you're not older than me.
Oh yeah.
No, we'll talk. Obviously,
no, we don't need to talk about it. I don't even know why I said that.
Yeah, you're not older than me.
Well,
you are.
Well, Amy, Jeff, and I are older than you, so.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, I looked it up. We're older.
Oh, you looked it up?
Yeah, stalker. I'm just joking,
it's so
everybody.
Weird, though,
I'm
because
joking.
you just don't feel your.
You don't see this gray.
I mean, but don't you feel like you don't feel like? Don't you like as you age? It's like I'm still like, but I'm the same.
Yeah.
I'm the same, but then you sort of like you said, you wake up and you see things and you're like, oh, holy cow.
Yeah, our mentality is like, yeah, let's go, and then you
still think you're the same.
Who is that? Yeah.
And the same. Can I tell you? Like my jokes are usually good, but then as I age, it's becoming more like dad jokes. Literally, I'm like, I think I was in my job. I'm like, hey guys, give me some butter. I'm on a roll. They're like.
That's so bad.
They're like, no, please stop. They're like, stop. And, and I forget that I'm like, I'm thinking I'm still like 22 telling this joke. Wait, did I tell that I was joking when I was 22? I don't think so. I take that back. Right? No, but like, and I'm telling to like a younger generation, they're like, no, that's not happening. Old geezer. And Amy, I looked it up. You're not old. You're not old at all. You're not old. I'm older.
I guess. No, you're not.
I'm older.
You're the baby in the group.
I know. I was gonna say. You said how old you were at the beginning.
Oh,
no. Jeff, I'm older than you by a few months, right? I think so.
Probably, yeah.
Boy.
Yeah, probably. You're older for sure.
Yeah. You're like, you look it too, you son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch, you old.
Well, it's funny. I mean, my husband we just had his 50th birthday, and it's just when you get to that sort of milestone, you're just kind of like, wow.
Yep.
I'm not there quite yet, but I just to have him reach that first was like, oh
yeah, and
we're here.
And you're like, well, the years aren't many left. It's like you're on the you're on the decline. It is what it is. You just got to make the best of it.
He doesn't want to stay out late at ICC. Now he's on the decline.
Well, yeah. My friends and I call it blue hair hour because we like to go to dinner. If we go out to dinner, we like to go at like 4:30 or 5.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh, I like to be eaten by 5:30, of course.
I mean, because everybody wants to be home now. It's just I think it's just kind of what happens. You just kind
of wants to get home to his silk pillowcase.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found myself that doing that too, like especially like I'm like, all right, I'm gonna I'll finish this show. It's like almost 10, and I'm like, next I'm just like half asleep, like not even asleep, like full dead asleep, like on the couch, and I wake up, I'm like, oh my god, like I did it again.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, I didn't believe what they said. Like I maybe it was just like I was in denial. They're like, oh, when you turn 40. You're just gonna. I'm like, nah, that's not gonna happen. I want to be, but next I'm like, oh, okay. Like my mindset's still an 18-year-old, very immature, but like my body's like, okay, yeah, you're not that 18-year-old anymore.
There's also something very appealing about just being home. I don't know.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
It just kind of, I think it's just a natural sort of progression of
We need our
you know.
comfort zone.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I like, like sitting on the couch, having a nice cup of coffee, watching, a show or a movie. But yeah,
That's where I am.
It's a good
I'm
night,
on my
right?
couch.
yeah,
Just chilling.
compared to when I was like 21, I used to like, oh my gosh, I was
Oh,
like out.
jeez.
Oh my goodness, I was out and about, uh you know back then, like, you never really like, especially like, when the prequels came out, you never like, oh, I'm a Star Wars fan, like, just kind of like, like kept it in, like, no one really knew. They didn't have like YouTube or like the social media back then, so you didn't know like if people were like-minded like you. So that's one thing I love
Yeah.
about like doing podcasting and YouTube, is that like you get to meet like people that like I don't get to talk about Star Wars in my work. I'm like, hey guys, did you watch? They're like, if I told them, hey, I'm gonna have like um uh I don't know, like I talk about like Twi'leks, they're like, what the hell's a Twi'lek? So
Uh-oh.
He's okay.
That's pretty good.
The
dogs
dog.
were
Sorry.
good.
Did you hear
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. They're like, come on, mom, it's time to go.
Well, it's because when there's somebody at the door, it's worse. But they just walked in, so then they kind of know that they quiet down real quick.
No.
Yeah. Well,
One's louder than the other.
What kind of dogs do you have?
I have two. I have one. She's like a lab border collie mix.
Mm-hmm.
Rescue, both of them.
Okay.
And then the other one is she's a shepherd cattle dog. Like
okay.
kind of they both have a lot of personality. Really, really good dogs.
Oh,
Nice.
okay.
Yeah. And great family, kid dogs.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So
But all right, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Amy.
Yeah,
Seriously,
anytime.
this is a lot of
Thank you.
fun.
Thank you so much.
of course.
I really, really
My pleasure.
appreciate it. And again, guys, give her a follow on Instagram, and
Thank
be updated with all the the convention appearances and stuff like that.
Yeah. Hopefully
And,
more stuff trickles in for the year.
Yeah, it probably will.
Yeah, but ICC will be
Yeah.
there. So
Cool. That'll be fun.
yeah, we got to make it happen, guys.
Looking forward to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard, like you guys said, I mean, obviously a lot of great things, but I've heard it's great.
It really is. It's a good con.
Nice.
Like I said, it's bigger, but it's
Yeah.
laid back. It's like it has a laid back feel, and
Mhm.
even just meeting like all the celebrities, like they're just super chill there. So that they're not like they're in this big convention where they feel like, all right, next, come on.
Uh-huh.
It's just
Yeah.
it
Nice.
just has a nice vibe to it.
Cool.
Yeah, you'll enjoy
Great.
it.
So
Perfect.
all right, guys. So thank you guys again. Thank you to Amy.
Yeah, thank you.
I really appreciate it, Sean.
I
Jeff.
do too. Thank you.
It was a pleasure, and yeah, we'll be back next week. And may the midichlorians be with you guys always and forever. Take care, everyone.
Right back at you. Okay,
All
bye,
right.
you guys.
Peace,
Take
guys.
care.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Strike me down with all of your hatred, and your journey towards the dark side will be complete.